Hi everyone, I'm doing this quick tutorial just to be able to show you a couple of things. Um, this is baby Daisy, and so I'm going to trace her. This is for, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, if it's Tanya or Tania, Tawnia, but this is to show you the basics of just tracing a simple image file and converting it to SVG. But this is also for Tanya, Tanya, to show you about the fill and stroke that you were having that issue with the Hawaiian Mini and her lei. So just go ahead and trace this. Um, and what I did, Tanya, was just selected my image and I went to Path, Trace Bitmap, and I clicked on the live preview. And in the preview, I'm just looking to see if there's any gaps in the line. And I didn't see any, so I left it at the default of 0.45. This is the only area that I make adjustments. I don't do anything with scans. And leaving her at 45 looked good. My lines are thick, but I picked up a couple of little remnants of things that I don't want. So to get rid of those, I need to reduce the threshold, which means I want to make things lighter. Is when you reduce the number. Darken it is when you increase the number. So I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to go ahead and delete this preview and start over again. Path, trace bitmap, but this time I'm going to reduce that number down to like 42. I still have some good lines around there. There's not a gap missing or anything, so I'll click OK. And now you see I don't have all those little remnant pieces in there. And that's what the threshold does. It defaults to 0.45, but you have to make your own adjustments with it. Now, if you just wanted to go ahead and cut this and weed it and use those washable crayons, then you would not have to do the next step. You would simply do File, Save As, and then name it and click on the drop down menu and choose plain SVG. I'm not ready to save it. Well, I'll go ahead and save it. And at this point, she is now an SVG. And all I can do is just print her and weed out the parts that I don't want. I cannot layer her. In order to layer it so that you can put your pink HTV and your yellow and your purple or whatever, you have to break this solid image into pieces. You need to break it apart into individual pieces. And the way to do that is select it and go back to Path and say Path, break it apart. Now it turns everything black, and black is going to be that outer bounding box that you see. That's the base piece or the background. That's all this black that you see around here. And all of the other boxes are these individual pieces that you're going to be cutting with your various colors of vinyl or HTV. And so if it all turns black, then you've generally, you know, done a good job, and 99.99% of it is going to cut perfectly. There are some rare times that it doesn't, but this looks like it's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do now is just apply these colors. Well, I'll go ahead and get rid of this preview box, but I never get rid of my original until I'm completely satisfied with my SVG. So I clicked on one area of a bow and I hold the shift key down and click the other areas that I want to be the same color. I can pick a color from down here at the bottom by just clicking on it, or I can drag the slider and get more on the palette tool if I'm looking for another color, or if I just want it to look um, like the same color for a visual effect, unless I'm doing a print and cut, I just click on the dropper tool, and with the areas highlighted on the traced image, I click on the original in that area that I want that color. But you have to go back and click the select tool or it will stay in this dropper mode. So I click on it, and what's happening is now I'm getting to Tanya is for some reason, if you can look down here at the bottom, you see the word fill and it has black on it. That is what this color, that's my default color. My stroke, I haven't set my stroke yet on it. I think that yours uh, was white here, and it may have been hard to see because the background is white, and that's why every time you were clicking that lay, it was giving it a default fill color. Now I'll click because I don't have a default fill color here, and I'll make her white. But sometimes it gets stuck, and you can see now that there's a white, and I'm sure that's what yours is. If it defaults to it and you don't want that, right click on it and say that you want to edit your field. You want to pick another color. So we'll do edit field, and then you come over here, and X means no color or no paint, and then here is where you get to fill your color, and it usually will get to this wheel, and then you can pick whatever color you want from the wheel. And did you notice that this turned red? So watch this area here, Tanya, as I click on different parts of that wheel to get that. And this is my properties, so it's going to stay that color until I change it back to no fill. When I do no fill, it goes back to where it was. So make sure that you come over to your properties and you click on that X for no fill. At that point, it's not going to fill it with anything other than what you manually select. And what I do sometimes for the other Tanya, Tania, is I hold my control key down and scroll my wheel on my mouse to make the page larger, not the image larger. And I do that to get into the smaller pieces because it's hard to grasp them sometimes. And when I'm done, I hold the control key down and my mouse wheel and I roll it in reverse toward me, and that makes the page smaller, not the image pieces smaller. And so now I'm just clicking on one and holding my shift key down to grab all of them that I want that color. And I'm just going to click on the dropper and then click on the original to say this is what I want to be that color. And so now I have her exactly where she looks exactly like the original. So I could at this point just go ahead, which I will, just click on it and hit my delete key. And then I click on this X over here to get rid of that properties. So that's what was going on for you, Tanya. Watch what it says for fill and stroke. Sometimes when you're working with the Bezier tool or the pencil tool, you'll get two colors in here. And the best thing to do is to come over to this X and click on it for none. And then uh, that removes whatever that fill is. But it only removes it while you're working with this particular image because a default is sitting in there. And your default for your preferences is under edit, preferences, and then you find which tool. And it doesn't say fill, it does say paint bucket. My paint bucket is defaulted to this color green. I don't know how in the world I got it to be green, but I must have liked green for some reason, and I'll show you exactly what that is. If I click on my paint bucket, it shows none down here, but when I click in there, it's going to be green because that's what was over there in my default. And you never do what I just did. You don't use the paint bucket to color anything. And the reason why is it never fills it to the edge, and when you cut it, your and go to layer, it's not going to fit properly. That is not what the paint bucket is for. So let me just undo this. But and go back to the select tool, get back over here. So what I would do is click on my, to change it, click on my paint bucket, and I'll change it to this pink color here, and I think it'll, no, it's still, so I need to right click on it. If you notice what I'm going to do, and I'm going to edit my field. So now I have to come over here in the properties for the paint bucket and pick what I want my next color to be. And if that's the color that I'm going to go with to always feel something, that's where it is taking it. I'll go back to my preferences and I'll say last used style. And now when I click on another area, it's going to be in the last used style, the last color that I used on it. So let me just close out of that. But sometimes even your preferences will change. Yeah, so that's my new color for my field. And so that's what was going on. If you notice over here, because the paint bucket is what I've selected, it has that little blue square behind it. It says this is the tool, and over here is telling you your fill is this color and my stroke is the black color. So if I was trying to fill something that was just one straight line, I'd end up with two colors. My stroke is going to be my outline, and the inside will be my fill. So I know I'm giving y'all a whole lot more information than I wanted to, but hopefully I've cleared up some things for some people. So I click on the select, and then this is going to go away. And so now that I've made these changes to her, this is pretty simple. So this is the type of image to try and trace first. Don't try something super hard. You're just asking to frustrate yourself even more. So now that I've saved it once, I always go back and do save as, and I make sure I select plain SVG. And I hit replace because I've already saved it once. Because I made those changes to it, that's why I'm saving it now. So I'm going to upload this video and leave comments open so you all can ask questions.